I absolutely love the way that the league has embraced having a female assistant coach on the bench. Because, no, keep in mind, women have been behind the scenes a lot in professional hockey, but this is the first time that they're very visible during the game. And I think it's great.
You want to get into that right now, or you want to save that for later?
Totally up to you. What else you got?
Oh, man, I want to be optimistic, but she's going to be the greatest HR problem in the National Hockey League. Like, the Seattle Kraken better have double the HR staff for the season for the amount of complaints they're going to be getting, because I don't see that ending very well.
Complaints how? What kind of complaints?
Well, okay, so first off, she was hired to be an assistant coach. And Ron Francis and the team came out and said, we vetted hundreds of people to be the next assistant coach, and she was by far the most credible. And we've talked before about how women's pro hockey is the equivalent of midget AAA boys. So if you're interviewing guys that play the pro level or coach at the pro level, to say that she's more qualified would not be true. Also, this is just my opinion. As a pro, if a woman was behind the bench, she doesn't have that same bite and that same tenacity that a male head coach would have. I respond best when coaches screaming and yelling and expecting the best out of me and disciplining the guys and having a certain standard. If she's being nice, soft, and traditionally agreeable, like most women are because they're feminine, it's not going to get the same result out of me. Also, if she hasn't played at the same level, it's like me telling you how to run a morning radio show. I don't have the same experience, so why would you listen to me? Yeah, I got some feedback, but I'm not going to be navigating you through the whole ranks of having the top morning show in the city of Winnipeg. Same way she's not going to be telling guys in the NHL level, hey, I think this is how you should be doing it. This is how you should handle Connor McDavid when he's coming to town this week. Also, we know that how guys are, and playing minor pro hockey myself, I know how many issues the teams that I played with have had with cheerleaders, marketing ladies, media interns, where the GM's coming in before morning skate. Can we stop touching the media lady? Can we stop doing this? If I see anybody with the cheerleaders, you're off, you're released, you're no longer employed by the team. I think on a balance of probability, you got 20 guys. I think it's safe to say 30% of those guys will think about taking an opportunity, because that's just how we are, right? Men are attracted to women. And you're going to have HR complaints left and right and center. You're going to have so many issues. And then also, I mean, let's be honest, Seattle is pretty woke culture. I mean, they have Climate Pledge Arena, not the Pepsi Center, Bell MTS Center. It's the Climate Pledge Arena. Hiring the first female assistant coach, you're going to have complaints. And when she gets fired, because all coaches are hired to be fired, you're going to have HR complaints coming left, right, and center.
Okay.
Here we go.
I think you have valid points in there, but I think where you're putting her into just, oh, she's a woman, so she's going to act this way, and this is all she knows. If she knows the game, and I don't think you necessarily had to have played the game at a high level, but I think she knows the game extremely well. I think she proved that with the Coachella Valley Thunderbirds or Firebirds, and I think Dan Bilesma probably vetted a lot of different coaches, but thought, I work really well. Like, her and I, like, we really get along. She understands the game the way I understand the game. That's going to help me coach better. I'm going to explain to the guys, listen, that is a coach. She knows the game. You listen to what she says. I'm the coach. You listen to what I say. Her and I are on the same wavelength. We have the same brain when it comes to hockey. And as long as the players understand that and they go and going, okay, we all want to win, I think that's going to be, like, it's got to be a very hard line right at the very beginning. Like, this is your coach, period. That's it. And if she can go out there and prove, and she has a lot to prove this year, absolutely, she did a great job proving it in the American Hockey League, and Dan Bilesma recognized that. And I think I do agree with you when it is a very much like, look, we have a woman in professional sports. Look, celebrate this.
But if it wasn't about that, they would have just hired her, end of story. But they're making such a big parade about she's the first woman to ever coach
it's marketing. Well, why not? Why not have an extra little marketing in there, right? Why not? Again, no different than, having the women give an experience of like, hey, this is what it's like going to a game day. This is what it's like being a coach in the National Hockey League. And I know there'll be documentaries that come out throughout the years that she's there. When it comes right down to it, if the Seattle Kraken are successful this year, then we're not having this conversation. Then it's like, okay, then you may be in a situation where you might eat your words a little bit here.
I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong.
I'm not saying that a few of those things that you mentioned may pop up, but I think they're going to be squashed very quickly. Dan Bilesma is smarter than that. I think Jessica's a lot smarter than that, and I think they're all able to say, this is a work environment, period. There's no negotiation. There's no wiggle room. We come in here, we work. That's your head coach. That's your assistant coach. That's your massage therapist. These are all the people that work, and we're all here to do jobs, okay? And do not confuse any of them. This is what we're here to do. I think that she has been very...
Yeah, but you even said, though, many times when I've told you stories from the Fed, that's the forbidden fruit. And that 6 now looks like an 8, 8.5, and now, okay, we'll take an opportunity here. Right? I mean, like it's just the way that men work. It's the way that, especially when you have these masculine alpha-driven athletes that are at the peak of their performance, the peak of their careers, someone's going to. I mean, look at the Carolina Hurricanes. Ian Cole was he was crushing the head media lady. Well, he had a wife and a kids, and then they got busted. Oh yeah, Ian he's going to stay here. He's going to keep playing for the team, but she got shit canned.
Okay, I think that they're in a situation where it's been leading up to this. I mean, remember, it was over 2 decades ago that female reporters were allowed into the male locker room, and it was like, guys, we're going to have a female in here.
When did that happen?
Appropriately. I'd say over 2 decades ago.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. And it was like, hey, there's going to be girls coming in here, make sure that you're dressed appropriately, but also on the other end saying, hey, you're walking into a male locker change room, you may see some things that you're not necessarily wanting to see, but don't forget you're in there to do a job. Period. And I think as long as everyone understands this is the job, and again, it all comes down to the success. It's no different than what we talked about for goaltenders going in. What have you done for me lately? Are we winning? Are the players reacting to you? Are they listening to you? Because, I mean, look, you talk about you'd rather have a guy there, a guy like Ken Hitchcock, and I'm going to use him just as an example because he is a giant man who could not even put on a pair of skates to go out on the ice.
Coach from the bench.
All right. So I mean, there's a situation where are you going to listen to that guy who can't even go out and do what he's asking you to do? You're going to listen to him rather than somebody that can at least lace up and pop one top cheddar if asked?
Well, he's on a short leash, though. Like, if the head coach comes in and he can't even put on skates and he's coaching from the bench, I'll give him a chance because he's a new guy, but he's got a really, really small wiggle room there and a small leash. If he's coming in...
then give her the same.
Of course.
Yeah.
But if a guy's coming in six-pack, jacked, shredded, big shoulders, big muscles, he's played the pro level, he's got a resume, he commands my respect. I'm giving him moral authority just based off how he's presenting himself. It's how we're programmed and how we're wired. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they have a successful season. I'd love to go experience the game there because they have the greatest goal song in all of pro hockey. The Nirvana Lithium, Let's Go Kraken. I love it.
There are a lot of pundits out there, and keep in mind, there are a lot of people that talk about the game that are sitting on panels that have a lot of broadcast experience that know the game extremely well, and we all look to them to go, they know what they're talking about, even though they've never played a game of pro hockey in their entire life.
Yeah, we know those ratings are in the shitter.
Regardless, there's a lot of people out there. I mean, listen, I've never played a game of pro hockey in my life, but I know the game really well. I know the game really, really, really well.
You know the game better than probably the 90% of the commentators in these panels that are just garbage.
And so there you go. So now you've got somebody who's played at a very competitive level, one of the highest levels of competition that she could achieve. So you got to give her a little bit of credibility on that one. Give her a chance. As long as the Seattle Kraken are making the playoffs and they're making a run, I don't think they're making a change until Dan Bilesma's gone. And if Dan Bilesma's gone, I think she's going wherever he goes.
Let us know in the comment section. What do you think? Let's have a civil discourse in the comment section. And then are you on my side? Are you on Dave's side? We'd love to know.
And tag your HR department. Hey, more hockey content. It might be old. It might be new. It might be a full episode. It might be a half episode. But you can click these boxes because who doesn't like clicking boxes?